So we're back onto the John Deere. Got some parts turned up. Gaskets. Rod bolts. Pistons and liners. So there I've got the 3 O-rings on the liners on this model. Just here. I took this piston out, but I'm hoping I can leave the piston in the liner and push them in and get the caps on. We'll see. It'll save having to put the pistons back in then, won't it? Some new bearing shells for the big ends. Oh, looks nice. I've got this front bolted on now. I can take it off and paint it. I'll do a bit more cutting in here. Got some front tyres coming for it. Put some new tyres on there. I'll paint them rims. Might widen the front out a little bit just to get the track just in line with the back wheels. Just undo them bolts and move them out on them holes. And I have made a start just cleaning all this stuff up. It's all going over the crank, but I think I'll just have to keep cleaning the top and just work my way down and then get the crank a good clean and oil. It all just seems like, all, I don't know what it is, dam water or something, I'm not sure. But that'll clean up. Took this middle cover off. Gonna put some new boots around the gear lever. I don't think that cover's probably ever been off. All these mud wasp nests. New boots. Just been doing up a bit of a list to get from John Deere parts. Just stuff like this, you know, new caps, rubber boots. I'll do an order of that soon. Just working on this clutch. There's quite a bit of play in the bush there. I'll pull that off and make a new bush for that. I've got this connecting rod which just connects the clutch there. I'm going to put a rose joint one in, tighten it up a bit. And there's supposed to be a spring on this to hold this clutch up. I think that hooks up under here somewhere. Probably there. I'll get a new spring for there. There's a crack there. Get this bolted on properly. Starting to clean up alright. I'm just sort of scraping everything down and then get flushing it out with just degreaser and brake cleaner. I've just noticed that the where the O-rings seal, just around here, it's a bit rough finish, bit of corrosion or. So I'm just going to get in there with, just get that on the die grinder here. Just sort of carefully go around and sort of smooth it up a little bit. Don't want to chop the O-rings on the sleeves when you're pushing them in. Then I'll give it another flush out. It feels a bit better. So I'm pretty happy with the way that's come up now. I was pretty careful, I didn't want to take any material off the block. I just wanted to get the scale off there and check any sharp edges for the O-ring to sit in. Give that a sand, clean that one up. Also went around the crankshaft with a bit of polishing tape. So the next stage is, I've got this right onto the piston here. we're gonna sit this liner in without the O-rings, so we can check the bearing clearance. A bit of flexi gauge. Just check that clearance there, make sure that all the liner fits in properly. And if it's all good, we'll pull it apart, put all the O-rings on and slide it all together. It says on the instructions here that to use a non-petroleum based lubricating soap for the O-rings. So we'll do that. That slid in quite easy. Just let that sit there and then climb underneath and do one of these caps up. So I just set one of the liners in with no O-rings on it. Looks like it fits good. It's got a real slight protrusion on there, which is what you want. I've checked the bearing clearance, a little bit of flexi gauge. About 2 thou, which is in spec. So now we can get all the O-rings on the sleeves and drop them all in and get the bearing caps all tight. So I've got the cylinder head back. Bit of pitting on the valves there, but they were okay. They did end up putting some new valve seats in as well. And then took a skim off it. Staining there from the wet cardboard. So I might put a bit of green paint on here underneath there. And then we'll get this thing together. I'll set up a time lapse. Let's get these in. So there we go, all on. Got all the valve train on now. Just got to go through and settle the clearances as they put some new valve seats in there. It's moved it all up in the head a bit, so I've lost all my clearance, but that's alright. I'll set them up. I've got these adjustments on here. It's just a tight thread, so they're quite easy. You just turn them where you want and put the feeler gauges in. Bit of paint on there. So next thing to do now, I'm just waiting for the injectors to show up. Put the injectors in, injector lines, and then we'll start making this manifold for the turbo. Hopefully sit that somewhere around there. Intake's easy. Got the wheels off. Get these tyres, I've got some new ones to go on. Some tri-rids. Probably paint these rims.